if you look at the news lately on the market outlook for the remaining, months of this year and even coming next year, I mean, everything seems to be doom and loom. I mean, everybody's talking about a crash that are going to happen and bringing the stocks even down to maybe 80% to the current valuations and levels. Well, guys, in this video, I want to cover exactly what are the facts on this news, what I think is going to be actually true or not true, and how it can potentially happen or impact AMC stock squeeze, and what I'm doing now about those news around the market crashing. So let's take a deeper dive into what exactly I'm talking about here. So first of all, if you don't know who this guy is, Robert Kiyosaki, he's calling for the biggest crash in the world history happening here in October. I mean, I thought the biggest crash we had was back in 2020 with the whole pandemic, but yet he's talking about even a bigger crash than that, bringing everything, crypto, stocks, gold, to almost 80% down. I mean, the reasons he's exposing, the reason he's bringing up are fair reasons. The amount of money that the economy and the Fed has been putting into the market so far, inflation, the debts with Evergrande in China, etc., etc. So it kind of points to some fair points, but I just don't think anybody can predict to the very exact timing what the future is going to hold. I mean, it doesn't matter how expert or how many years of experience, you just can't predict the future to the very same. Because since January of this year, every single month, there's been a new analyst, there's been a new guy coming up on TV or on social media calling for a market crashing. I mean, just look at the housing market. Since 2010, the market was supposed to crash, but it kept going up onto this point where it's kind of went crazy. But my point is, I mean, people have been calling for a crash on the housing market, and yet that crash is still to happen. Another news is, Goldman reporting a 8.2 trillion worse threat than the Evergrande issue that we're seeing in China. We also talk about the debt ceiling in this video, in some of the videos, and I mentioned that for the latter, for the debt ceiling issue specifically, I think it's more of a political battle between the reps and the Dems, and they're using it as leverage in order to get advantage or to get some favors from the other side on their favor. But I don't think the people in Washington are going to be stupid and stubborn enough to let the US default on its debt, even though it will make sense for the US to default, because the level of debt in this country has gone to extreme levels. So it has to stop somehow, but it just cannot stop that way. And I don't think they're going to let that happen just yet. So you can see lots of bad news, lots of negativity about what the future is looking like for the stocks. And it's true that related to AMC, we tend to correlate this market crash as a catalyst with the squeeze, which is true, because in the case of a 60% or even a 10% crash, it means those short positions that those companies had they will be forced to close the short positions, and that means the buying pressure skyrocketing and bringing the price of AMC to the moon, and hence the squeeze happening. But I also want to point out the fact that for the last 3 or 4 months, we've been also focusing our attention on some of these catalysts that are going to bring the price to an upward direction. But talking about the UMR, implementation for by the DTCC, the AMC being added to the MSCI World Index, lots of things happening. The reverse purchase report hitting new all-time high pretty much every single week. But hence here we are still trading below $50 a share. Just to say that in the past, we put our hopes and expectations on some events that were supposed to bring the share price of AMC very higher or closer to the moon, but it didn't happen. And here we are again trying to do the same thing with this whole market crash thing. I mean, I'm not denying the fact that a market crash could be good for AMC and definitely will be good for AMC, but nobody knows exactly when that happened or even if that will happen. Okay, because what people are not telling you is the other side of the story about market continuing to go up. As a matter of fact, JP Morgan, who actually is the same bank which last week was telling people that they started to prep for a US debt ceiling event to be a catastrophic event. They are also the same guy back in July 20th saying that the S&P will rally another 8% this year as the fears of slower growth are overblown. I mean, guys, there is a mixed sense here on where the markets are going to go. So just to use this as an illustration for you guys in the market and people in AMC especially telling us, well, we need to be smarter and we need to be a little bit, just smarter because we did that in the past and things didn't unfold the way they were supposed to or the way we thought it would do, because I think AMC will pop, no question about it, it will, and I think it will pop the very least timing we expect it to. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, but that when, I mean, nobody knows. And that's why we should only keep being patient. That's it.